Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/AskReddit by Planet Reddit. What's the weirdest reason why you felt attracted to someone? A girl gave me half her sandwich one day without her even really knowing me. Null. Is through his ribcage stomach. She had a skinny Achilles tendon on both legs, if that makes any sense. Like there was no fat on either side. It's just the tendon and skin and whatever else. That's the first truly weird thing on this thread. Congrats. For some reason I'm picturing that part on a dog ankle where it's just bone. And when you put your fingers on either side you can tell it's just skin. Because she smoked. Even though I am very anti-smoking and don't like being around smoke or smokers. Or so I thought. After knowing this girl for a few years, I asked her out on a date. And I told her about the first time I ever met her. And how she was off in the corner smoking. And I thought she looked so cool. Even though I normally don't like smokers. She replied, "What are you talking about? I haven't smoked in at least 10 years. That wasn't me." RIP you. That twist had me rolling. Surprise glasses. I slept over at my ex-boyfriend's house. I didn't know he wore contacts. I woke up in the morning to go to the bathroom after he got up to walk the dog. When I got out of the bathroom and was walking back to his room, I looked up and saw him wearing glasses. Then he just smiled at me and said good morning. Holy duck, was I turned on. I don't know what it was about it, but it was amazing. Girl that was a friend of a friend needed a shoulder to cry on. And I was basically the only person she recognized within reach. She looked up at me with her crying face, you know that super unattractive face people make when they're bawling. And her mascara running. And I swear people in the next room over could hear me getting hard. Ah. The good old morning wood. Damn it. I feel this one. Had the same thing happen when a girl confessed some deep things in a car to me. She actually leaned forward and buried her head in my lap. Breathing hard on it. Whimpering and whispering more things to it like it was one of those tree holes of secrets. I truly believe she was too emotional to notice or care. She had a fiancé and the conversation was too intense for me to say anything about what our position looked like. My balls were bluer than choked Smurfs that night. Lots of times I start off thinking someone is not attractive. Then after a while I get fascinated by their unattractiveness. Then I start to like their uniqueness. Then I start to find their uniqueness beautiful. Then I tell someone and they can't believe that I fancy this person. That makes me then fancy them even more. Ah. Like Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth. MR. Darcy had at first scarcely allowed her to be pretty. He had looked at her without admiration at the ball. And when they next met, he looked at her only to criticize. But no sooner had he made it clear to himself and his friends that she hardly had a good feature in her face, than he began to find it was rendered uncommonly intelligent by the beautiful expression of her dark eyes. She disagreed with me so vehemently that I said I hate her and it whiplashed me. Nobody had ever argued me to such an extent. According to Tom Haverford, the emotions of love and hate are very closely related. Couldn't agree more. Theater class. Teacher picks a pair of students, separates them. Tells student A, "You say I love you." Tells student B, "Whatever they say, you say I know." Gets them into the center of the room. Student A, "I love you." Student B, "I know." Teacher, reverse it. Student B, "I love you." Student A, "I know." Rinse. Repeat. It wasn't very convincing to say the least. She separated them and told one to say "I hate you" and the other to say "fine." Apply the new dialogue to the above formula. This got heated and became very believable. At its peak she told them to switch back to "I love you" and "I know." This time you could hear it. See it. Feel it. It was fascinating. She went on to explain that both are feelings of passion, and as such that are closer to synonyms than antonyms. The opposite of love is indifference. The shape and profile of the nose. Thank God. I thought I was broken. No. The noses. He touched me and it felt so safe. He used to say I'd sigh when he hugged me. Like the weight of the world was coming off my shoulders. I never noticed the sigh until he said something. But goddamn did his hug fix everything in a really messy reality. I've been the dude in this situation. And trust me, it's the greatest thing for us too. I'm a dude in this situation. But swapped. When I hug some p-up guy, just never wanna let go because everything feels right in that moment. I literally hated him so much I eventually became attracted to him. It makes me wonder if the hate was just sexual frustration. So you mean there's a chance? Sure. She was having an allergic reaction from having a small amount of peanuts and her lips got all swollen and it was stupid hot. The Angelina Jolie effect. I believe the scientific term is the Angelina Jolie effect. I saw a dream of them giving me a blowjob. You know when you see a really intimate dream of someone and then when you wake up it feels like the feelings from the dream transfer to real life? It was like that. Also, I don't even have a dong eye roll. Edit. I'm a girl and the person giving me the BJ was a guy. But he has these amazingly beautiful, kinda girly lips and I think that's what inspired the dream. Unfortunately I can't remember the exact size of the dong. But it was pretty big. How big was your dream dong? Asking the important questions right here. Because they liked me as well. That's pretty ducking weird. That someone would be attracted to me. They must be a real sicko. It's funny how that works. Girls I've previously never had feelings for said they did for me. And suddenly I'm heels over head in love. Man. I'm the opposite and it's the worst. If I've got a platonic friend and for whatever reason it comes up that they aren't attracted to me, I slowly go head over heels for them. It's happened a few times and each occurrence was shittier than the last. She had a huge nose. Like really big. It was long and crooked like shark fin after an encounter with an outboard motor. She was quite petite with an uneven bosom and narrow hips and the rest of her face was rather plain but her monumental schnoz drew me in and I had to buy her a drink. I think she was unaccustomed to men hitting on her by the way she reacted when I approached her but once I broke the ice. We had a great night together. I was only in town for an evening so I never saw her again but I often think about beautiful Mabel from Nashville and her enormous sexy nose. The narwhal theory. And she look at you kind of funny. too. I later found out this was on account of her nose causing a blind spot in the middle of her field of vision. U/Vargas. If I spend enough time being in the same vicinity as a girl I will fall in love with them. This ducking sucks. Duck. It keeps happening to me. I decided to room with a gal I thought no way in hell I would like but it backfired equals glad I'm not the only one. That's called the propinquity effect. Oh god. Yeah. I was attracted to a male co-worker because of the really specific reason that I liked the way his glasses looked on his face. They just sat nicely. Even worse. I later realized he looked very much like my dad looked when I was 3-7ish years old. And also he had almost the exact same glasses. As a very introverted and quiet person I for some reason can't help but feel really attracted to extroverted and upbeat girls who start and carry conversations about everything they feel like thinking and talk about anything they feel like saying. I find talking with people like that really enjoyable despite me being such a downer. Edit. I never talked to anyone about this or gave it much tuft so I'm legitimately surprised that so many people can relate to my case. I just love the positivity some people have despite not being the best at being very positive myself. I just naturally happen to really enjoy interacting people like that. I'm an outgoing girl who is attracted to quiet guys. I often feel like I'm being annoying by approaching them and talking their ear off so it's nice to know that some of you like it. I could understand why you think you're being annoying but you're absolutely not. I've had a lot of people ask me if they're being annoying while I'm listening to them talk about something. But the truth is that I love the fact that you just want to share whatever is on your mind with me. In fact I sometimes feel like I'm being annoying by not contributing much to the conversation and just listening. I end up thinking that you want me to say something meaningful and I'm afraid that you'll lose interest on talking to me if I don't do so. I developed a crush on a boy in high school because he had a well-known, unrequited crush on a different girl. So I assumed he might be desperate enough to date me instead. He wasn't. When guys have crushes on specific girls, they usually are only interested in her. At least from my experience. She messaged me first. What unicorn was this? That never happened, even on fking Bumble. Edit. Word. Her name was Sam. We had steamy sex in her car 2 nights in a row. In a 75% open classroom. She sat in front of me. He had the ugliest jumper I had ever seen. I loved it. I think all of us have a crush on Joachim Noah. She got goosebumps. Back in uni I was taking an intro physics class. Sat in roughly the same seat every day as did most everyone else. About midway through the semester, a girl I had never really paid attention to had goosebumps all throughout class. For some reason it activated things inside me like R2 in the Death Star. I couldn't stop looking at the goosebumps on her skin. The whole lecture was a waste for me. Ever since then, goosebumps on a girl get me really revved up. There is a girl that sits in front of me in one of my classes. I never really found her all that attractive, and she always wears these off-the-shoulder sweaters that are too big for her. But one day I was zoned out staring at her exposed shoulder and realized how nice her skin is. I imagined kissing her neck and shoulders when suddenly her skin flushed with goosebumps and she let out a little shiver. I almost lost it. So this is why we're not allowed to have bare shoulders at school. Was missing a finger. I guess I saw her as someone who wouldn't give up. The Frodo theory. Whenever she was stoned, she would hug lampposts, reassure them everything would be okay, and dance to the next one. Sober, she would always take a second to appreciate a good lamppost. I love people who just love things. She loved them so much he eventually named her son Street Lamp. He saw a calculus equation on my whiteboard and instantly solved it. I'd never been attracted to him before and had no idea that brain was in there. We're engaged. I'm a math major and this is everything I've ever wanted in my life. Congrats to you two on the engagement. That's why I wander around the honors dorm just solving any problem I can get my hands on. I'm a straight female. Dating an amazing boyfriend. However, I was serving a girl and her younger sister once. And I found myself in the new and confusing position of being terribly attracted to this girl. It had something to do with the confident and careless way she sat in her seat. She was easygoing and friendly. And just so cool. I dunno. It was weird. I don't know if this is weird, but I'm attracted to hair when it smells good. Sniff that shit all day. When she lets her hair down and you get that sudden rush of smell. I have this one professor at school. We usually stay in school for 8 hours and all throughout the day she smells so wonderful. How is this possible? Meanwhile I smell good after 5 minutes of shower, then I smell nothing. Wearing a ponytail with just a few strands loose and always falling in her face. I can't explain it, but it's instant attraction in most cases. A girl I met recently is an architect. I am disabled. Recently she went on a huge rant about how architects will sometimes cut corners to avoid having to fit disability standards. She exploded into this fiery rage about the inadequacy of those architects and the rights of disabled persons. I have never been so turned on. When I'm sad, my so talks in a Donald Duck voice until I'm not sad anymore. Wow, that would provoke me to violence. Violence. The fact that he has no idea how attractive he is. So, he doesn't know he's beautiful. If only he could see what you could see. H'd understand why you want him so desperately. Maybe she could prove to him she's right by putting it in a song. I once had the most intense crush on a girl the grade below me because she added me on Facebook. She was a compulsive liar. Full stop. And didn't give a damn. In her personal ad, she described herself as a t-shirt and jeans girl who loved puppies, children, mud in and fuzzy slippers. When I took her out on a date, she showed up in a pantsuit and acted like a dainty beach the entire evening. We stopped by my cousin's place and she was such a germaphobe she refused to even pet the dog, let alone hold their newborn. Think Willy from Temple of Doom if you need a visual. When I called her on her bullshit, she said, "Oh that. I just copied and pasted some random buzzwords to sound likable." The candor gave me a massive hard on. That's hilarious. And I love how it didn't bother you. Did it go anywhere? When it comes to girls, I'm always attracted to their brown eyes. I absolutely love brown eyes. And I find it weird that the color of someone's irises makes that much of a difference to me. As a girl with dark brown eyes, I am so happy to see this comment. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.